Assalamu alaikum everybody. So in this one we are gonna try to make a GUI or a graphical user interface for our profiling program or our interrogation program. So the first thing that we'll need is to create a main directory for this. So let's call this one profiling program. Let's move to that directory. It's empty like you see, and let's create a main file that we're gonna need. Next thing we will need a main, or we will need a data directory to contain our main.ui file and our themes if we want to create those. And for this one we're gonna start to make the GUI application. So let's have the designer open for us. Let's create this as a main window. Let's delete or remove the menu bar in here, and let's have something in our program. Okay, the first thing that we'll need is to open the widget box to have some widgets in here. I will need a submit button. So the first thing that we'll need is to have that form in a user for the user. So it will be a graphical user interface, and we will need some line edits and some labels to successfully replace what we had in the terminal. So when the program is executed, when the main.py is being executed, the person that will be interrogated, he will have to fill this form. So let's have a form for him. Let's have a line edit in here, a small humble line edit with a simple label next to it. So let's have this as a first name. Okay, so let's have this as a first name. We actually have 5 places or 5 information or 5 things that we want the user or we want the person that is being interrogated to give for us. So let's copy and paste this in here. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's copy and paste this in here. Okay, so let's copy, paste. Okay, so we need 5. Okay, move this up a little bit. We need to center it very nicely and very good. Okay, nice. And we'll need this too. So the next thing I will need is last name. The other one will be the email. The next one, okay, we need 2 dots in here. The next one will be the home address, so I need the address. The last but not least is the origin. Actually this is the last one because these are 6. Okay, we don't need this last one, so we will need just to have a submit button for the user to submit it. In the terminal we have an enter to do the job, but here because this is GUI we need a submit button, so this will be submit, hence the name, and we are done. So this is all the user needs to fill up the form or the information that we want from him. So he can give us the name here, the last name, the email address, the address, and the origin. He will hit the submit button, and that's it. But what we do want to do is to make this a complete program. So actually the admin and the person who owns the program or the person who interrogates people will actually have all the data or all the profiles been shown to him. Okay, so let's have that. Let's copy and cut all of this data from here, and let's have a tab widget. So we have multiple tabs in our program. We need to paste the data in here for the user, but like we said, we need some other tabs for the admin. So this one will have just a simple table that will show all the data that's in the database. Okay, so let's actually make this a layout of a grid. Okay, let's make this a grid layout. Should be good. So the thing that we'll have here is first name, the last name too, the last name, the email of the user or the person or the profile, and the address, the origin, and the social security number. We don't actually have this with this name in the database, but we have a person ID, so I will just try to change those, and or let's just leave it like that, but we will technically change it in the code so it will replace the social security number. And here we will have all of these fields, but with two buttons, the edit button and an update button, or an update button and a delete button if he wants to delete a profile. So let's copy all of these, paste them in here. We'll actually need some space in here, so let's move this up, let's move this up, let's move this up. Okay, let's move this down. I will need a second button that will have the that will be delete. This one should be update. Okay, and why we will need this space is for us to have a search by social security number. So we can search by social security number. It's the person ID that we have in the database. That's we specified the auto increment value, so we can look up a profile in the database using that value, because it's the only unique value we have in a profile in the database or in the table of the database. So let me just have a line edit for us to have an ID in there. So let's have this in here, make this like that. Okay, so we will have here a search button that will search for a profile in the database. So this is the button that we are gonna connect that search method that will initiate to get the data from the database, and then filling up all this information in here, and then you can change it or delete it. So we are actually almost done from the job of the GUI. Okay, save this in the main and in the data folder. So save this as main.ui file. That's the name that we need for the Yasmin. Okay, next thing, I will need to change this tab's names. So let's close this up and let's open the property editor, make this bigger. Okay, let's change tab one's name. This should be add profile or submit profile. Okay, let's just leave it at profile. Here will be view profiles, and the last one is gonna be edit profiles, so you can update it or delete it. So we are actually almost done in here. The only thing that I will need to do is to change all of this widget names. So this line edit should change from line edit to first name. Okay, so we'll need this later in the code. This should be good name conventions. Last name should be last name. The email should be just email, or let's have this email address. Here will be home address. The last one is the origin. This submit button should be button submit. This is a good name. This one should be table, not table widget, or let's have a table widget. It's okay. The edit profile, this should be ID edit. This should be the button search button. This will be the search button. This will have the first name. The first name. It will automatically change to the second. This is the second last name. This is the second email address. Yes. This is the second home address. You will understand why I'm doing this later if you have no idea what I'm doing. And this is the second origin. This is the delete button, so button delete, and this is the update button, so button update. Okay, so save again, exit the program. So we are done actually officially from the UI. So let's change, or let's go coding.